How you doing? Philly's got the cheesesteak, New York's got the chopped cheese. Let's see Captain Ron make one of those. Oh! Hey, your old pal Tony here again. Let me tell you something. New York, they got this little bodega called Haji's where they created this cheesesteak. It's called the chopped cheese. Oh, forget about it. It's the best sandwich anywhere. You need to try this. I want to know, can Captain Ron make one of these sandwiches? I think he can, but hey, who knows? Forget about it. My name is Tony. Here you go. Yeah, Tony, I can make a chopped cheese. Being I'm from New York and I know what they are, I'm going to beat any bodega in New York right now with the best chopped cheese ever. Let's get started. And welcome back to another week of the FOGO Life, folks. I'm your host, Captain Ron, as always. So what we have here is you've seen and heard of the Philly cheesesteak sandwich, right? One of the most iconic sandwiches ever. Well, New York bodegas, these little tiny stores, grocery stores, kind of the more sketchy the better, came up with these sandwiches. It's called a chopped cheese. It's basically a Philly cheesesteak, but we use ground beef, peppers, onions, and then just processed American cheese. That's it, okay? Ketchup and mayo as the sauce. And I know it sounds really simple and crazy good, but it is really simple and crazy good. That's why. So I'm gonna show you how I make mine. We're gonna give it a little seasoning. We're gonna cook it on a plancha on the big green egg. It's gonna be fun, better off. It's gonna be delicious. Now we're using some really basic ingredients. We're using ground beef, just using a simple 80-20 ground chuck. All that means is that it's 80% beef, 20% fat. You wanna have the fat in there because the fat is the flavor. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put this onto our plancha first for a little bit of a, you know, like an oil. Instead of a rubbing oil, we're gonna use Wagyu beef tallow. Fantastic stuff, lots of flavor. Gonna add some beefiness to it. First thing we're gonna do, cut up our peppers, cut up our onions, and get this thing prepped. So we're gonna take our peppers here, we're gonna clean out the seeds, clean out the stems, clean out the veins in here, just make them nice and cleaned up. You know, there's no real super like secret recipe to this. Some people use peppers, some don't, some use onions, some don't. I think I've seen all kinds of stuff on here. We're just gonna do simple peppers, onions, and we're gonna add some tomatoes on at the end too, just for good measure. Some of the best cooks in the world will tell you the thing that you wanna do when you're making a delicious meal is to build layers of flavor. So the more flavor that you start with, the more flavor you're gonna end with. So instead of just using a cooking oil, as I said earlier, we're gonna use some Wagyu beef tallow. All it is rendered down Wagyu fat. Tons of flavor. So we're gonna use that, put that on the plancha. We're gonna use that to stir fry the vegetables in. We're gonna cook the beef in it, and we're gonna actually even brown the bread right in it. So everything is gonna be Wagyu beef tallow made. It's gonna be fantastic. This gets cooked on a flat top. So what we have is our carbon steel plancha here that goes on the big green egg, goes on a Kamado, whatever you're cooking on, and you just simply pop it right on top of the grates, and in the grill it goes. You want to do this direct, okay? So you don't want your deflector in there, you don't want the convector in, you don't want that at all. You want direct flames right underneath this, heating this up on sort of a medium-high fire. All right, now the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put some of this tallow on here and spread it around real good. Oh yeah. Again, we're gonna spread it all around, cover this thing completely. What we don't want, we're not looking for a giant pool, we just want a thin coating, just like you would a frying pan. One thing to remember, we're gonna be cooking with the lid open on this thing the whole time. The dome is gonna be open, so this thing is gonna be getting plenty of air. So when your fire gets to a route where you want it to be, don't be afraid to shut down these vents. You can control your temperature. You know, close them down, it's gonna be a little bit less hot fire, so you can control it like that. If it gets too hot, shut the dome for a little bit and just cool things off. But we're gonna be cooking just like this. I think we got a nice fire going, so let's grab some chopped meat and get started. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take some, you can form a patty, form a little ball like that. Don't pack it, you just wanna give it a little bit of shape, a little bit of form. So, you know, like a good sized meatball. We are up to temperature, so let's throw some veggies on. Oh, I love that sizzle. Love that sound. Woo! Okay, there we go. I think we could even throw the onions right on there too. Should we just throw the onions in there right in there with it? What do you think? Yeah? Okay. Got my trusty helper here. You want to just cook the vegetables till they're a little bit softened, getting translucent. You don't want to cook them down. You can even give them a little browning. To me, that just adds a little bit of extra flavor. So it's up to you. Cook them however well you want to do. Just make sure they soften up quite a bit. Veggies are cooking. Time to throw some meat on here. So we're gonna take our two big old meatballs that we made. 1 and 2. Next step, I want to break that up. It's called chopped cheese because it's made with chopped meat, and that's what we're doing is chopping our meat down. Oh yeah. It's smelling good in here. Those New York bodegas have nothing on us. Come on, Haji's Bodega, we got you here. There is no set seasonings you can use for this. I've seen Sazon seasoning, I've seen everything. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this Greek Freak. I find this just has really good flavor, especially with ground beef. So I'm just gonna sprinkle some on the beef, okay? A little bit of seasoning, not overly, we just wanna flavor it, not kill it. Oh, what the heck, put a little on the veggies too. I think even Tony would be happy with this so far. He's gotta be enjoying this. I hope so anyway. That guy, he's crazy. Anyway, so we wanna keep chopping that meat up. Beautiful, coming along nicely. One thing to watch out for on the plancha, don't lose your meat through these holes, okay? The good news is though, this plancha works great for a Weber kettle, works great for eggs, whatever you cook it on, it works great. We have reached the next point of our game here. So what we're gonna do now is combine it all into one big solid heap of deliciousness. Combine your meat and your veggies. Mix them all in together. Yeah, see some of that meat's got a nice little crust on the bottom. That's what we want. That's the flavor. Now, why in the world did Ron just bank everything to one side, make one big pile? Because we're gonna make 2 sandwiches. We're gonna put that on one side, we're gonna put our breads down on here, right in that tallow. Let the bread brown up a little bit here, okay? If you have a press, you can put a press on here, that'll work great too. Cast iron pan works great. But then also, what we're gonna do next is, if I planned this properly, I did. We're gonna throw our cheese on. And all we do is just lay the cheese right on top. Just lay it right across the top like that. Our first bread is done, got a nice little browning on it. So we're gonna make a special sauce with this. It's really, really difficult. Ketchup and a good old mayo. Staples of any delicious sandwich in New York. All we do now, take our meats, take our good stuff here, and simply lay it right on the bread. Oh yeah. So there's one. Oh yeah, the fuller, the better. That's what I always say. Look at those babies. And the last final touch, tomatoes. If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York. Look at that sandwich, baby. Chopped, oh my God, chopped cheese sandwich. That is just looking exactly what it's supposed to look like. Listen, I know you're gonna go, it's nothing but a hamburger. You know what? You're not that far off. But by chopping it up like that, what happens is that all that surface area increases and you get a little char on all of that little pieces. So you know how you like your char on the outside of the hamburger? This kicks it up another couple notches. I bet you even Tony's gonna like this. But I know this, I can't wait anymore. I have to take a bite and try this out. So, cheers. Oh, that sandwich, and that sandwich, S-A-M-M-I-C-H, by the way, that sandwich is second to none. I mean, it is so good. Philly might have their cheesesteak, but I'm telling you, New York came up with something really great on this one. I just love it. The tomatoes, the seasoning from that Greek Freak, use whatever seasoning you want, but I like it with this. It's just, it adds a nice little flavor, just a touch more than just salt and pepper, you know? With the fresh tomato on there, of course, it's tomato season, so that helps. But my goodness, the way that ground beef just cooks up like that, the onions, the peppers, it's so good. I want to finish this up quick so I can get back to eating it. So anyway, listen, if you saw any products that you're interested in and want to learn more about anything that we used in here, in the description below is a link to everything that you could possibly want to know. So check it out down there. But until then, I want you to remember to get out and grill, and I'll see you the next time on The FOGO Life. Don't tell Ron, but he nailed that sandwich. Hey, yo, how you doing?